Welcome to the Traditional Way. I'm your host, Brett Shumway. This podcast is brought to you by the Martial Arts Internet Network, where you can find all things martial arts related on our social media pages and the main app available on Apple and Google stores, where you can catch up on all the open circuit sport karate news with Inside Scoop, catch a movie review with fists, kicks, and flicks, or find out what's happening in the jiu-jitsu and MMA worlds on the Winner's Circle, plus now exclusive content that is only available on the app. On this episode, we're going to cover the third Premier League event of the season from Leshan, China. And this event had less than the normal amount of athletes present. Now, as we discussed on the last show, the events in the Middle East right now could be the result or the reason why a lot of these athletes are not present due to travel restrictions or connecting flights. I can say this is the first Premier League that I have covered with this many divisions that did not have the full 8 pools. I have seen 3 in a pool several times as divisions don't have the max 32 competitors, but I've not seen a Premier League event that divisions without all 8 elimination pools used. Also, with this being the third event of the season, the race for the grand winner are starting to take shape, and with all but one division still to be decided at the final event. Let's take a look at the results. With Shamalarani Chandran and Armina Perfetto being the only top 10 ranked athletes to get eliminated in the elimination pools, the quarterfinals of the minus 50 kilogram division started off with Emma Scardella beating Yi Ti Sang 3-2. Celia Oiken defeats Sarah Hubrick 2-1. Mizuki Ishihara takes out Alexandra Wolf 5-0. And the world number 2 Gulshan Ali Mardanova falls to Yergalis Salazar by the 8-point spread. In the final 4, Oiken defeats Scardelli 5-1 and Salazar beats Ishihara 7-3, setting up the final between Oiken and Salazar. And it didn't disappoint as these two fought to a 6-6 tie. Salazar would win the gold by the Sensu advantage and stay perfect for 2026 as she has won both Premier League events that she has attended. Hubrick and Ishihara take home the bronze medals. Now in the minus 55 kilogram division was an odd one, right? So there was only 3 of the top 10 ranked athletes present at the event. There were some former top 10 ranked athletes that have fallen out of grace as of late that were present and trying to get back to their winning ways. However, that did not exactly pan out. The final 8 kicked off with Zumra Eam defeating Luisa Alberici 2-0. Lizzie Zivadawi falls to Valerie Domova 4-0. Yu Chen Wei wins an exciting match over Bella Shamasheva 6-4. And Nadra Sipovic beats Nina Kvasnikova 5-1. In the semifinals, Domova defeats Eam 2-1 and Wei defeats Sipovic 3-2, setting up an unlikely final between Domova and Wei, where it would be all Wei who would win by the 8-point spread in front of her home crowd for her first ever Premier League medal. Sipovic and Zivadawi win their bronze medal matches. Absolutely no surprises in the elimination pools of the minus 61 kilogram division, with all top athletes present making it to the quarterfinals, which kicked off without a bang as Li Gong and Sarah Shimada fight to a 0-0 draw where Gong would advance with a decision. Aizen Bakarova defeats Alexandra Sholakova 4-2. An exciting match between Fatma Naz Yenin and Monica Arzumian, where Yenin would pull out a 7-5 win, and Asel Kane would walk through Maria Azarava 7-0. In the final 4, Gong beats Bakarova 5-4, and Kane beats Yenin 8-5, setting up a final that should have been a high-scoring affair. And it was, but not as expected, as Li Gong would win in front of the home crowd by a score of 11-2. Shimada and Yenin secure the bronze medals in their matches. Shocking start to the minus 68 kilogram division as world number 3, Elena Quercy, does not make the final 8 for the first time in 2 years as she exits out of her elimination pool early. Setting up a quarterfinals that start off with Irina Zaretska using the Sensu advantage to advance over Kana Nagai after a 4-4 tied match. Elena Silimanivia upsets Talia Sombre 3-0. Tsubasa Kama beats countrywoman Mashiro Ikeda 3-1. And Teodora Kristovic loses by Sensu to Alexandra Meshkova after a 5-5 tied match. In the semis, Silimanivia continues her upset as she takes out Zareska 2-0. And Meshkova beats Kama 9-6, setting up an unlikely final that would not disappoint, as Silimanivia and Meshkova would have a tough fought match, and it was close, but Meshkova would emerge as the winner by a score of 3-2 for her first Premier League gold medal. Sombre and Kama won bronze medals. World number 2, Joanna Kinnear, gets taken out early in the over 68 kilogram division and would be the only notable exit in the elimination pools. The final 8 started off with Cleo Fiorcuti taking out Maria Garcia 4-0. Arika Garan walks through Zala Zibre by the 8-point spread. Daria Boulay defeats Zaina Gabala 5-2, and Sofia Baratselva narrowly beats Selena Stamer 2-1. In the semifinals, Garung over Ferracuti by a score of 8-3, and Boulay loses by senchu to Baratselva after a 5-5 tied match, giving Garung her second Premier League final against the world number 1 Baratselva. And they would have a close match, but Baratselva would emerge after a 2-1 victory. Boulay and Zibre would win their bronze medal matches. In a division that rarely sees an upset, female kata found world number 3 Terriana D'Onofrio failing to win a single match in her elimination pool, as she would not see the final 8. The quarterfinals started off with a battle of Chatnara Kusanku between Azuki Iwatani and Hisami Nakaji, with Nakaji winning that 6-1. Natsuki Shimizu's Karumfa gets blanked by Maho Ono's Chatnara Kusanku 7-0. Same result for Paola Lozano as her Chatnara falls to the Super Empe of Kiri Mishima. And the world number 1 Grace Lau Super Empe takes out the Anandai of Rita Seber 7-0. In the semifinals, the Chibana no Kusanku of Ono defeats Nakaji Super Empe 7-0. And Lau's Chibana no Kusanku defeats the Chatnara of Mishima 6-1. Bringing us to another installment of Ono versus Lau. This time Ono runs Super Empe and Lau runs Chatnara, with the same results as the last 7 times they have matched up, as Lau wins her 8th straight gold by a 7-0 margin. The bronze medals went home with Shimizu and Mishima. The world number 3 Christos Zenos exits early in the minus 60 kilogram division as he gets eliminated in the early rounds, and he would be joined by the world number 9 Sorte Sornia. The final 8 started off with Abdallah Hamad beating Lavani Donadze 4-1. Nuri Kilik beats Christian Savantino 4-0. Merkredin Turnakanov required the senchu advantage to advance after Barak Ozdemir fought him to a 4-4 tie, and Enrique Ruiz falls short against the world number 1 Hiramu Hashimoto 6-2. In the semifinals, we had an exciting match between Kilik and Hamad that had everything, and in the end, Kilik won 16-8. And in a stark contrast, Hashimoto beats Tarakanov 3-2 to advance, giving Kilik his shot against the world number 1, and he did not waste his chance, winning this match 11-3 to win his first Premier League gold and move up into the world number 4 spot. Tarakanov and Hamad won their bronze medal matches. The minus 67 kilogram division had 2 notable exits in the elimination pool, as world number 7 Georgios Baliotis and world number 3 Afif Gayeth both get eliminated early rounds, leaving the quarterfinals that started off with Olzas Altenbeck defeating Rosario Ruggiero 4-0. Abdul Rashidov easily beats Vinicius Figueira for 8-1. Luka Maresca and Abdel Al-Mustafa fight to a 7-7 tie. Maresca advances with the decision. And the most exciting fight of the round, Eric Organisian takes out the world number 1 Sayed Obaya 10-7. In the final 4, Rashidov defeats Altenbeck 3-1 and Maresca defeats Organisian 2-0, setting up a final match between Maresca and Rashidov. In a close match, Rashidov pulls out the 3-2 victory to secure his first Premier League gold. The bronzes went home with Altenbeck and Al-Mustafa. World number 6, Yusei Sakiyama gets eliminated early and would be the only top 10 ranked athlete to get eliminated in the early rounds of the minus 75 kilogram division. The final 8 kicked off with Ernest Sharafutinov defeating countryman Gadziev 2-1. Nurkanat Ashikanov puts on a clinic against Ole Pashkanchenko, beating him 10-2. Enos Bullet defeats Quinton Malhadin 8-1. And in a close fight, Andrei Zapolitny gets the decision over Sunji Suzuki after they fight to a 1-1 tie. In the semifinals, Ajikanov beats Sharafutinov 5-3, and Bullet beats Zapolitny 3-0, setting up the final that would not disappoint, as this fight was close and exciting throughout. But in the end, Bullet over Ajikanov 6-5 for his first Premier League gold. Malhadin and Sharafutinov secure the bronze medals. The minus 84 kilogram division would see Ivan Kvesic and Hassan Arslan exit early, as these 2 top 10 athletes failed to advance out of the elimination pools. The quarterfinals started off with Rikito Shimada defeating Valerie Chopitar 3-2. Ederin Gasparian takes out Valerie Sonke 4-1. Mikel Martina defeats countryman Matteo Fiore 6-1. And the young American Michael Molinaro breaks into the quarterfinals for the first time, Unfortunately, he matches up against Muhammad Al-Jafari, who beats him by the 8-point spread. The semifinals start off uneventful as Shimada and Gasparian fight to a 0-0 draw, where Shimada would be awarded the decision. And Martina falls to Al-Jafari 8-5. In the final, Shimada gave it his all against Al-Jafari, who was just on another level at this event, and he would win that match 14-4. The bronze medals went home with Martina and Gasparian. The over 84 kilogram division had a lot of new faces in the quarterfinals, but that was not due to any upsets, as half of the top 10 athletes were not present. The final 8 started off with Mikhail Chiano defeating Ivan Kudzinow 4-2. Anis Bostancic beats Osman Gurbanli 4-0. Rizvan Talibov had himself a performance defeating Kentaro Yamuchi 13-5. And Rodrigo Rojas defeats Diaz Honor Bikov 9-3. In the semifinal rounds, it was Bostancic over Siani 3-1 and Rojas over Talibov 8-3, setting up a final between the top 2 ranked athletes present, as Rojas and Bostancic would have a back-and-forth match with Rojas coming out on top of a 7-6 scored match. Siani and Talibov would join them on the podium as they won their bronze medals. In men's kata's world number 3, Alessio Giannami would fail to advance out of the elimination rounds. Now, he wouldn't be the only top 10 athlete eliminated in this round, but he would be the only one defeated by a lower-ranked opponent. The quarterfinals kicked off with Kotaro Ohata defeating the Ohan Dai of Taishi Tozaki 6-1. Ariel Torres makes quick work of Yuji Ujaro as the Anan of Torres defeats his opponent's Chibana no Kusanku 7-0. Another battle of the Motos as Kaz's Unsu beats the Jite of Ryuji. And in a battle of Paparin, Kakuro Nishiyama beats Yasuhiro Machada 7-0. In the final 4, we had a close match between Torres' Orhan Dai and Ohata's Super Rempe that would have Ohata edging out that win 4-3, and Nishiyama's Super Rempe would defeat Moto's Gankaku 6-1. And in the final, we'd see a battle of Super Rempe as Ohata would not have a shot against Nishiyama, who would win this 7-0 to secure his 14th gold medal in a row. Torres and Moto would secure their bronze medals. The first thing that caught my attention was Michael Moliniero's performance at Leshan. Now, he didn't do well once he made it to the quarterfinals. However, for the young athlete to make it to that point is a big step in his career. He won all 3 matches as his elimination pool. This shows great progress on where he may be going. Figuring that he qualified for the PKFs in the U21 category, this performance gives me hope that he's ready for that challenge. Now, the new rules have come up again because of the Ohata-Torres semifinal match. Now, I don't have a problem with the way this match played out and the technical scores. To me, the scores don't matter in this case. There have been some posts on social media complaining about how Ariel won based on the technical scores, and that is correct. However, he only won by 0.1 points. Also, 4 out of the 7 judges went for Ohata. Now, this is where I think the new rule is correct. Let's just say one judge favored Ariel and gave him a way higher score than he did Ohata. Should that one judge sway the outcome? I personally don't think that should be the case. It was a close match. However, the majority of the judges chose Ohata over Torres, so that should be the standard. Who the judges thought won, not how much they thought each athlete won by. One thing that we have to talk about is history, and that's what Kakuro Nishiyama is attempting to make. He currently sits at 16 Premier League gold medals, and now his 5th grand winner status. He is closing in on the record set by Sandra Sanchez and Ryu Kiuna, which stands at 19 golds. I think he has the best shot to do it. If you take into account he's got one more Premier League event left this year, and if he remains perfect, as he has for the past 2 years, he would only need 2 next year to tie. I foresee him taking over that record next year. And with that, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of The Traditional Way. Join me on the next episode where I'll bring you the results from the Series A event from Spain. Until then, continue to support the Martial Arts Internet Network and all of our content. Until next time, guys.